Hello, Grams, and welcome. Welcome to the Masculine Rebirth page on YouTube. It's been a long time coming. I've been thinking about this for a while, started other things, and I decided to lock in and start sharing. Sharing about basically my spiritual awakening and climb out of mental health disorders, illnesses, all that sort of DSM-5 stuff, climbing out into becoming more regulated, more centered, more still, with more clarity and purpose. So I had a spiritual awakening in 2012. It took about 3 years for that to really catalyze and unfold. I landed myself in prison in 2015 and spent a year in there. And that was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it gave me the space to really think about how I landed there, and also took away and stripped away all my vices and all my addictions. And I was basically left bare. And it was the first thing I found in there was a Buddhist book. And I started reading it, and it really started to transform my life. And then from that point on, I continued to meditate and focus on breathwork. And then the next catalyst for me was becoming a father in 2017. I was 27 years old, found out I was going to have a daughter. It completely transformed my life to the point where I was laser focused on reconciling all the past upset and traumas and all of the things that were creating habits and behaviors and thought forms. For me, my biggest struggle was addiction, suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, catastrophizing. That whole entire world for me was, I thought it was who I was. And over time, using all kinds of modalities, I've managed to transform myself, but also my life. And I want to share with you how to do it yourself, and also the importance of finding yourself an adequate guide that can almost be a vehicle or be a guiding light out of your own darkness. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a physical person. It can be a person, like a teaching. For me, Ram Dass became a very powerful teacher, and he passed away. Sri Aurobindo was also one, the Buddha, Christ, Padmasambhava. All these people for me really supported my path and continue to do so now. So I believe it is incredibly important to find a guide if you're having a spiritual awakening, because it's not all love and light. Let's just face it. What's the opposite of light? Dark. What's the opposite of love? Fear, chaos, hate. So you have to face all that if you truly want to land in love and light. So this page is going to go in a fair few different directions, but as the name states, it's masculine rebirth. What we're seeing today is a complete shift in masculinity. Two ways. One, they're trying to shut masculinity down as toxic masculinity. But two, men are actually starting to give a shit about themselves. They're actually starting to care for their mental, they're starting to care for their heart, they're starting to care for their body more, and they're starting to pray and get connected to the divine or spirit. So I believe there's a second coming of Christ, if you want to put it that way, or a spiritual awakening, Christ consciousness, Buddhahood, whatever you want to call it, or however you want to frame it. This is just fact, that something is occurring on planet Earth where a shift is occurring. And I believe there's a rebirth, both for men and women. So on this page, I'm going to talk about all the things that have worked for me, all the things that didn't work for me, certain ways of thinking, certain perceptions, because I believe we can shift and reframe our perception through other people's insights and realizations. So thanks for listening and watching, and look forward to the next video.